You great stewards of the land. It is Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark, brought to you by First National Bank and Trust of Elk City and Sarah America. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. 2 more days. Turkey, ham, con pie, pumpkin pie, German chocolate cake, cranberry sauce. So, what are you guys having for Thanksgiving? What's the plan? Let me know. 580-225-9697 is the Fowler Agency text line. Let me know. Are you going to have turkey, ham, chicken? We're having beef. We're doing steaks. I can tell you that right now. We're doing, Sandy's got sweet potatoes cut up for something. I'm going to cook some steaks on my new grill. Let me tell you about my new grill. I got to tell you about my new grill. So I stopped by Ace over at Sayre to get something. And I got a Blackstone, and I wore my last pellet grill out. I've been kind of missing the smoking deal. So I started looking, and I'm not a huge Traeger fan. I'm going to be honest with you. My favorite grill's always been, pellet grill has been the Louisiana. But I was looking, and they got such a slick talking sales lady over there. She was telling me all this good stuff. So this Woodridge Traeger grill that I got yesterday is it has the pellet deal off to the side, and it's got a deal where, sometimes the wind or something can backflash into your auger, into your firebox. This all does it. I can start, if I wanted to start smoking or cooking about halfway through my show, I could fire it up right now with my phone, and it'd be ready for me when I got home. Pretty cool. It's 880 square inches of cooking space. So anyway, so Sandy got home, and she noticed it. Well, obviously, it's a big thing. She noticed it and wondering what the occasion was. So I told her I bought it for Beth and Sister, my dogs, for helping me with the peanuts this summer. So we'll leave it right there at that. Okay, let's check out some temperature. 45 degrees at Boise City, 52 at Beaver, 56 at Cheyenne, home of the secret weapon. Fairview, you're 57. Hobart, 62. Altus America, home of the Altus Air Force Base, 64 degrees. Out here in the panhandle of Texas, we got 63 at Odell, 61 at Wellington, 55 at Miami, and 49 at Stratford. Okay, Brandon is coming on, so I got a couple of quick things to go with you. Today is Heyday Tuesdays, brought to you by Great Plains Bank. And I have a new listing that came in yesterday. He actually delivered it down to my desk. And you're looking for a good buy on some hay, you need to listen up today. I got a good one for you. So that'll be coming up the last segment after Brandon. First things first. Let's see here. Since it is a hay day, I want to share this story with you. Kind of involves Oklahoma and Texas. As the hay cycle transitions from making to selling, be reminded that most people are honest and are well intentioned. But just one bad hay buyer can make for a really bad day. KXLL, a television station based in Sherman, Texas, recently reported on a Marietta, Oklahoma hay grower who was left standing with an $8,000 hot check after the thief drove off in his white semi-truck and loaded trailer. I hope he gets caught, said rancher Nick Blandney. During his interview with the television station, but my main goal is to make people aware of him. He says he buys, sells, and hay through his farm business. The Hay Barn is the name of his business. Typically, hay customers come to his ranch to pay for the hay and leave with a loaded truck. A customer from Texas arrived at his ranch a few weeks ago and wanted to purchase a load of hay. He was just like you and me, just a normal guy. Blandney explained to the reporter he paid with a check, and it ended up being an actual fake check. You rely on that money to turn it to keep trying to grow your business. It hurt pretty good. He reported the incident to law enforcement, but charges have not yet been filed. Special Ranger Randolph McGee investigating the case with the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. I did see where this particular individual has got a history of that, the ranger said. Everyone just needs to be mindful of who you're doing business with. And when you get a check from someone, go get the check vetted before the person leaves with your product. Very true. I think I've learned my lesson, he said. He plans to do business different moving forward, but he wants other ranchers to be aware of the situation. The dishonest individual is going from Texas to Oklahoma and purchasing hay with bad checks. Blaney is not the first or last hay seller to get hung with a bad check. Whenever the topic is broached on an internet forum or social media site, the replies to personal experiences are abound. When selling hay, the producer is often put in a position of an unsecured creditor. This is always the position of risk. The best case scenario after receiving a bad check is that the honest mistake was made and the problem was quickly resolved. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Taking legal action may be an option, but it's one most producers want to avoid as costs can amount to more than the value of the claim. The best defense against bad checks is a good defense. This can encompass a variety of strategies. Here's some of them. Some hay producers who have been burned by non-payment on several occasions have gone to the extreme, only dealing with buyers whom they know and trust. This, however, is not always possible. The means by which hay sellers operate to ensure payments is varied. Some deal only in cash, at least with those buyers whom they don't know. Hay is not loaded or unloaded until payment is received. In cases of payment by check, this means the check must clear the bank. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. This way, in cases of payment by check, this means the check must clear the bank and be vetted before the hay is loaded at the farm or delivered. Some hay sellers turn to technology and utilize a credit card reader that attaches to their tablet or cell phone. This puts the onus on collection on the credit card company, but comes with a user fee that may or may not be passed on to the hay buyer. New money transfer apps such as Venmo or Zelle or Zelle, however you say that, often offer other alternatives to receive payments for hay. Blaney's story can be followed at KECO96.5. There you have it. I don't know what to tell you. If you trust somebody and you know them, that's one thing. But new buyers, like some people that might buy some hay off like my show or out of the paper or something, are selling hay, vice versa, either way. Cash is good. Cash is always good. That's 100% guaranteed to be good. But they're just, like they said, get your check cleared before they leave. If you don't know your buyer, and even if the check's clear, get a picture of their driver's license if they'll let you do that. And I don't know if they will, but, got to cover yourself. And, yeah, the credit card deal, I'm not a big fan of that. Me selling beef like I do, a lot of people ask me if they can do that, and I'm sorry. I'm not going to get into that. Deal with the credit card deal just because, like, my daughter and son-in-law, they own the only liquor store in Chase County, Kansas. And what'd she tell me? They started adding the credit card fees last year or this year to the price of the liquor and beer, and it's crazy. But $15,000-$20,000 a month in credit card fees, that adds up in a hurry. And yeah, you can always add it on there, but I don't know. Big hassle if you ask me. But some people's got to do business with the credit cards. Can't even go to a Dallas Cowboy football game with cash anymore. So just wanted to share that with you. Hey, today is the Stockman's Vet Clinic happy hour. Let's take a Stockman's Vet break. We'll be right back.
The Day in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Your hometown dealer. Wendy Nissan is now offering Sunbit financing in our service department for service tickets as low as $400 or up to $10,000. Interest rates starting as low as 0% and finance terms as long as 72 months at Wendy Nissan, your hometown dealer. Black Friday all month long.
Don't miss Macy's best deals of the year. Hurry in and shop epic Black Friday deals on this season's best gifts before they're gone. Like men's and women's boots for just $19.99. Coats for the whole family, 60% off. Levi's jeans and denim, 40% off. Plus, 50% off top beauty gifts from Yves Saint Laurent, Armani, and more. Don't wait. Black Friday is here at Macy's. Savings off select styles. Exclusions apply.
Do farmers and ranchers need different kinds of tires?
Yes, they do. The farmers and ranchers, generally need a heavy ply tire because they're always pulling a trailer, got hay bales, have equipment. They generally have a lot of tires on the ground. Trailers and trucks and equipment.
Is the lifespan of their tires different from a regular passenger?
Correct. Yes, they are. They generally are a little bit less just because they are abused more than an average customer. They need a good set of tires because if they're down for a day, they're in trouble. It is costing them money. They should go to L&R Tire. We have them in stock and we know what they need.
Why have they used you through the years?
Good service. Like I said, we always generally have the tires in stock and we treat them with respect. L&R Tire, 1204 South Main, Elk City, Oklahoma, the home of Bridgestone Firestone tires. At L&R Tire, we'll take good care of your vehicle.
You farmers like saving money on stuff you gotta have? You can save instantly when you buy 2 or more eligible Bridgestone or Firestone ag tires at Blair Tire and Feed. Get $300 off all eligible AD, 2IF, and BF radial tires and Bridgestone radials. Get $200 off all eligible non-AD2 radial tires and get $25 off Destination Farm and Destination Turf. Blair Tire and Feed at the Crossroads in Blair, Oklahoma. Save instantly on the tires you got to have.
You don't want to let your cotton set in the field day after day waiting to be gin. Now to better serve you, the cotton farmers in Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, Lone Star Gin has processed over 540,000 bales of cotton. They've got locations in Pampa, Texas, and now in Burns Flat, Oklahoma. Lone Star Gin has the ability to process over 2,400 bales per day. All they do is gin cotton. Go to LoneStarGin.com for more information, and you can find them on Facebook.
Oh, Jimmy's all wound up and ready to go. Here comes more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
All right, Canadian, Texas, 55 degrees, humidity's 45, dew point's 34. The winds are out of the north at 16 with wind gusts up to 32. Going to be a little breezy today. Month-to-date precipitation, 0.94 1/100 of an inch, almost an inch. 8-inch soil temperature, 52 degrees. Let's check out real quick before we get on with the Brandon. The Central Crop Care out of Hobart, Oklahoma's grain market update. Kansas City hard red winter wheat December is 5.13 up 5 3/4. Corn out of December, Chicago 4.24 up quarter, and soybeans is up 2.5 at 11.25 for January. Soybean oil December down 0.06 at 50.12. Soybean meal December $317.10 up 29 is what it's saying. And they'll have a decibel in there. Must be up quite a bit. And let's see here. Cattle. Maybe if I can get it up. There it is. December lives are down 17 at 207.02. February is 207.20, down 32. Feeders for January are up 165 at 306.62. March is 335 up 255. Not too shabby. A lot better than yesterday. Good morning, sir.
Howdy, howdy.
Good, I guess it's good afternoon. My bad.
Not morning anymore.
No, it's not morning anymore. 19 minutes into the afternoon, I'm saying good morning.
Yep.
Hey, we got to start the show out with the cranky old lady story.
Oh, dear.
So, I was at church Sunday. She sits in the middle on the right-hand side, kind of towards the front. And I sit kind of backwards so I can watch people. You never know who's after you in church. And So they got up to start the service off with a couple songs, and they said, while we're singing, you guys go shake hands and hug. So I shot straight across the aisle for her. I didn't let nobody get in my way. And she turned around, and you could see the deer in the headlight look. She did not want to hug me. As a matter of fact, I grabbed her to hug her, and she put an elbow between us. And if we hadn't been in church, I'm sure she would have had a few choice words for me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
so, but anyway, she did smile as I was walking off, and I don't know if that was a smile of I got him or just relief that she didn't have to hug me. So she was cranky. How's that?
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, one of these days I'll have to shoot a video of her
Yes.
mistreating me in church.
Yep. Put it right on your Today in Ag Facebook page.
Well, I don't know. I better, because of liabilities, not get the radio station involved. So, man, I was looking at your numbers a while ago, and I flipped back in your text message because you send me all the sales report, and I flipped back, and I picked the 800 weight for an example, and from August to your report you sent me last night, there's about $400 difference in the 8 weights.
Yep.
And that's about what everybody's saying, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that's, you know, from kind of the top, you know, we saw some 8 weight steers up there around that 370 mark, you know, at the top, and
Right.
and now we're at $3, so $560 a head. From the top to where we are, when the top wouldn't have been that long ago. Probably July, early August, something like that. So here we are 3.5, 4 months later, 1 quarter later, and we're $560 a head down from what an 8 weight steer was worth 4 months ago, 3 months, 3.5, 4 months ago. That's unbelievable. It's not good. We've been talking about something like this was probably going to happen. I've been talking about it almost every Tuesday that, we're going to see something like this, get protected, get you some protection to these cattle while we're at these levels. But golly, it's aggravating. It really, truly is. And I knew whenever it was, whatever happened that caused this, no matter what it was, it would be aggravating. But I mean, this just makes it worse. A few comments from the president, a little bit of arrogance and pride from the NCBA, and then Tyson all of a sudden making a big announcement that they're closing this great big plant, and terribly, terribly frustrating. Makes no sense to the people out here doing it. The fundamentals haven't changed. The numbers haven't changed. We're still at 370 on our choice box beef. It's flying off the shelves. Demand's good, and just nothing really makes sense with what's going on. But we, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox just a little bit, but we have been failed as a people by our elected officials, and not just now recently, but for years.
Yes.
We've been failed by our elected officials, and to me, this whole deal, the Tyson plant closing and taking their shift down at the plant in Amarillo, going to one shift. To me, all it did was make me that much more acutely aware that had our elected officials been doing their jobs, we would have never been in this position to begin with. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think it's ignorance on a lot of them's part. I think it is greed, and I think it's corruption. And I think, I hope that it's going to get rooted out at some point, but I think it's so deep and so huge. I mean, there's just no way it should have ever been allowed to only get down to 4 major packers But beyond that, it sure shouldn't have ever been allowed that 2 of the 4 are Brazilian owned.
That's my big thing right there. I
Yeah.
I don't have a real huge issue with the 4 Packers because I've read some stories I got sent to this morning that's too long to talk about. What I do have an issue is foreign people owning a couple of our 2 biggest processing plants, and that's security. That's food security right there.
It is, and the only way that's allowed to happen is
Politics.
numerous politicians somewhere were getting their pockets padded. I mean, there's no way that makes any sense for the constituents. There's no way that you can look down the road and think, yeah, this makes sense for the people that voted for me. It is pure greed. It's pure corruption. JBS and I can't even say the name of the one that owns National. I don't even know how to pronounce it for sure. Yeah,
Is that it?
but both of those were just, they padded some pockets, they got it pushed through, and we're stuck with the mess. And some bunch of politicians made a big bunch of money, and probably a bunch of bureaucrats as well, probably a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, probably as much of them as elected politicians as anything, that made big bucks off of JBS and National becoming Brazilian owned. Never should have happened, but I will say, I was having a conversation with a guy there Friday night after the sale, and I mistakenly told him that I thought Tyson and JBS were the 2 foreign owners.
I thought that till yesterday.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. It is National and JBS that are both Brazilian owned. But that being said, Tyson and Cargill are still majority family owned, but I'm not sure that they're majority controlled by that. And I was looking at it this morning, and a big chunk of Tyson's ownership is BlackRock, which is a very liberal, left-leaning investment group. Probably every single one of us has probably got them somewhere in our 401ks or our IRAs or our investment accounts. And probably every single one of us doesn't ever vote if we ever do get a proxy ballot or anything. But the leaders of that particular investment group they're bad news, and they're going to be right up there with the Tyson family. They're going to be a big ownership of Tyson, and they want control. And the best way they can control the people is by controlling the food, and also through fear and fear mongering, and that's what they specialize in. And this has been allowed to happen. And again, they're padding a lot of politicians' pockets. I don't know why in the world that an investment company that's handling that kind of money should be allowed to handle to put out the kind of money to political parties and to political people running for political office is what they do. I think there's probably something very ethically wrong about that. I think that all political donations should come from individuals, not business and corporations. But BlackRock is a huge donor. Their 2 biggest that they donated to was Kamala Harris and Hakeem Jeffries. There's you a pair to draw to now. And what they want for this country. Unfortunately, Tyson has a large ownership of their ownership is them, and we're just and us as the producers and the American populace, the general population that just want to live and work and be left alone are left to pay the tab for what our politicians refuse to do and refuse to take care of.
Yeah, it's very true. I was reading, a matter of fact, I think I copied it. Bear with me a second. I want to read this to you and get your thoughts on this real quick. Hang on. It's not very far back there because I sent it last night. So, so this came from a guy that I copied and pasted this off of a guy off social media that was talking to one of the big cattle producers' Facebook side. He said, fundamentally speaking, the closing of one Tyson plant shouldn't affect anything. Plants are running at a lower capacity now anyways. There's room for cattle to be killed elsewhere. CME traders will panic sell all those long positions and cause an overreaction in the feeder markets. I think it will be short-lived, and the first markets will, after the first, the markets will bounce back. And that's kind of something similar to what you said last week, that once this all kind of calms down after the first year, things will bounce back. Even right now, we're all aggravated, we're all mad, but the market's still pretty good right now compared to the way it's been the last 10 years.
Yeah, we got one step forward today to offset the 3 steps backwards yesterday.
Yeah. So that leaves us 2 steps behind.
Exactly.
And then another friend of mine was saying that him and another cattle buyer were buying, and he said that he thinks that the problem is there's nobody out there that wants to buy right now. They're all stepping in, and so at some point it'll get cheap enough till decide they want to buy it. They'll want to buy it, but whenever it's in the news every night about how high it is, everybody's afraid to buy, and that's our problem. We don't have any sellers. We got sellers, but we don't have any buyers, kind of, And so it's a. And then I seen another deal going around. A new cap came out. Make American cattle producers poor again. So it's kind of I was pretty aggravated on the show yesterday when I started. I had to calm down before words come out of my mouth that would cost me my job. But it's just if they just shut up on the media, and our agriculture media is not helping either. And I'm talking about the big boys, not the Jimmy Clark styles, but the big boys, they got to report on something. I think you and I talked about it about 3 months ago when somebody, all of a sudden, one of these big news stations started talking about the price of beef is out of control. And then we knew it was going to be bad from there on.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, I want to see, and if there's any of our politicians listening to this, I tell you what I want to see. I want to see an investigation. I want to see if sometime last week, if those big hedge funds, in particular BlackRock, if they sold a bunch of feeder cattle futures, knowing that announcement would happen Friday, knowing that it would limit it down Monday, so that they could, then that they will then buy back in. They sold them on Friday, and over the weekend made $9.25 a hundred profit off of however many thousands of contracts that they traded, knowing that plant closure was going to be announced Friday at the close, and knowing that would limit it down Monday. How I would like to know how many cattle futures contracts did BlackRock trade last week? I mean, because this is, you want to talk about packer manipulation? We haven't got a problem with packer manipulation. We've got a problem with commodities board manipulation. That's where we have a problem. We don't have near the problem with the packer manipulation as what people think. It's not the actual commodity where we've got the problem. It's the owners of the packing companies trading in the commodity markets and trading such huge numbers that they're manipulating it that way. That's where we have a problem, and that's where the problem needs to be dealt with. Yes, do we need more packers? Absolutely would be better. More competition is always better. But you need to look into it. Needs to be seriously taken a serious look at. How many contracts are they trading, and how many contracts are they trading right in front of a big announcement that they are going to make, or that a company that they own a huge share in is going to make, that they know that company's going to make? That's what I want to know. Because I think they're and again, the SEC, the Federal Trade Commission is not doing their job. I think they're probably on the hook. They're probably making money. They're probably corrupt. I think you have to see this. Anybody with any common sense kind of see some of this crap that's going on. But our politicians, our unelected bureaucrats, don't care. They're getting their money, and they don't really care what's happening with us. And I mean, really and truthfully, we should all be really up in arms just by the stuff that Doge has uncovered, just the stuff that they posted that we were supposedly sending money to. I mean, it's unbelievable the level of corruption that our government has gotten into, and this is just one more part of it. I think is it just one more deal, and all of that was aggravating to see it when all those Doge announcements of that stuff that they were finding Sesame Street in Iraq and gender changing surgeries in Guam or whatever all it was. I mean, it's aggravating to see and hear that, but then this one hits us right where it hurts. Where makes you really sit up and pay attention. You aggravated from afar about those other stuff, but now you're like, wait a minute. There's a lot of stuff going on here that is morally and ethically wrong, and nobody's stepping in and saying, whoa, let's get back to doing business the right way with some morals and ethics.
Yes, and you're very true. It's very true. Everything you say, I agree 1,000,000% with. And and another thing people don't understand that are not in the cattle business are deeply into the cattle business is there is still a shortage of beef out there. The numbers aren't there, period. The numbers don't lie. But here's the thing. The beef industry cannot recover like chickens and turkeys and hogs. I mean, they can go out there and produce a jillion of them. It was proved earlier this year when we had the problem with the bird flu, and then all of a sudden 3 months later, hey, we got enough eggs now because they had enough layers made. You can't do that with beef. It doesn't work that way.
Well, that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's just a handful of reasons that beef is not streamlined like the chicken and pork is already. I mean, and one of those reasons is just the amount of time that it takes to replenish and the amount of land mass that it takes to replenish. And then your third leg of that is that there's still two sectors of the beef industry that are still live auctions and open outcry, live bid, true price discovery commodities.
Right.
Two legs of it are, and unfortunately, we've got to where the selling from the feedlots to the packers is not that. There's a little bit of it, but a very, very, very small percentage, and we've lost that at the top of the chain. Not necessarily the end user, but the ones that selling it to the end user have got it fixed where they don't have to negotiate, they don't have to bid, they don't have to compete for product very much at all. And we've lost that at the top, and but hopefully we don't lose it at the next two legs down. But that's hopefully that's not where we're headed. But yeah, this is aggravating. This is frustrating. It's as usual, they're looking in the wrong direction. I mean, it's not packer manipulation as far as the cash prices. It's packer and hedge fund manipulation at the commodities boards, which ultimately dictates what we're doing and what we're being able to get done.
Yeah, because they've been saying for a couple of months they want to get it back down to $3 and $2, and they've done a really good job of doing it.
Yeah,
and that's the deal. Yep. Well, we best get on here and get this over with. At Elk City last Friday, November 21st, you had 1,681 head. Looks, we talked about the calves there, them 8 weights and stuff right there. The bred cows and the pairs are still doing great. I mean,
your long-term investments have not changed very much. Even the short-term cows, very, very little change in them. And really and truthfully, for knowing what the board and what the market was going to do, not as much change in the calf market as what there could have possibly been.
Right.
Pulled it a little further down, Monday at Western Oklahoma Livestock Auction with that limit down move. But again, the calves were not down near as much. When you consider what those 8 weights brought now as compared to what they brought 4 months ago, presumably that should have your calves $560 a head cheaper, and we're not. We're only about 400 down. cheaper compared to what we was 4 months ago. So, still pretty positive on that end. There's still some optimism out there, and still a lot of people want some calves because, they those bids could be pulled a whole lot further than what they are on them unweaned calves and the weaned calves. That's ready to go on back out to pasture. There's still a lot of optimism. They sure haven't pulled off of them near what they could have, considering what the futures board and the feeder cattle cash price has done.
Yeah, because at Elk City Friday, I'm looking at the four weights, 470, 484, 491. They're still really close to $2,000.
Yeah.
And I remember 10 years ago, this year, they was $800-900. So,
yep.
So
yep.
It's pretty good, but it's still good. But
Well, and those 213 head of 729 weights, that we sold there, if it. The frustrating thing about it for that, and that particular producer, I'm pretty confident we'd have got $9-10 a hundred more out of those cattle prior to the Tyson announcement. If we'd had them cattle sold at 130 right after that cattle on feed report was announced, but before Tyson was announced, we'd have probably got $9 or $10 a hundred more out of those cattle. But because that deal came out, we actually had two buyers just got phone calls, got up and left that was there to buy those cattle. So terribly, terribly frustrating, very manipulative. It's just a lot of stuff going on that the producers taking it on the chin for corruption.
He what, 25,000 left on the table?
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
200 some head at $10 a hundred.
Yep.
70. Yep.
Yep. So, a lot of money left on the table. Well, let's fly on down I-40 and go to western Oklahoma. You had 1,061 head going on there. More of the same thing. The breads were still doing good, and the market was a little softer yesterday at western Oklahoma, but not a whole lot from what I see on these numbers.
Not near as much down on the calves as what you'd expect for what the future board was doing. The feedlot ready calves, feedlot ready cattle took it on the chin pretty hard. They were sure down the pole from what they'd been previous weeks and previous months. Down pretty hard on that limit down move. But again, the calves, kind of everything 650 and down that is not going to be ready to be marketed, just in the next 60 days, really pretty good. I mean, it really just not as much down as you might could have expected with the kind of market that we was in yesterday. But the bred cows was good. Butcher cows and bulls not changed very much at all. Feeding cows down a little bit the last couple of weeks, but
isn't that pretty normal for this time of year?
Yeah, this time of year, you usually kind of see that the feeding cow deal usually kind of stays steady, and you usually kind of see, right here before Christmas, you'll usually kind of see the butcher cow deal, the butcher cow and bull deal go up a little bit going into the holidays. We're not seeing that, but we're not really seeing much of a decrease either. We haven't seen that huge glut of cows going to the packers in September, October, November that we usually do, because so many of those cows, them bred cows, we're getting them going back home, back out to pasture. So the packers are having to stay pretty competitive on their bids. They're not getting a lot of them short-bred cows that they usually get, so they're mostly just getting the open cows, the older open cows, and the shorter-bred cows, the very short-bred cows. Is all they're really getting. So they're having to stay pretty competitive, bidding against each other on those, which is a really good deal. So we've stayed pretty steady on that. Been a lot of feeding cows turned out on weed or put on feed around the countryside the last probably 45 to 60 days. A lot of them put out to put some more meat on to market to the packers later. So a lot of them guys have kind of filled up a little bit and they're slowing down a little bit going into the holidays. So those cattle have backed off just a little bit on the feeding end of it. But all in all, The cow market has just stayed pretty steady through this whole entire deal. The calves have dropped, $400 a head, but that's not too bad compared to the $500 and $600 we've seen the feeder cattle drop. So
Yeah.
I think it'll get lined out. I think the fundamentals and supply and demand will demand that it go back the other way, but it's just going to take a little longer now after the big announcement there Friday. We're probably going to be one step up, one step forward, and two or three step back here for another couple of weeks. Maybe once we get into the 1st of December, I feel like maybe we'll kind of start drifting back the right direction. Don't feel quite so good about that 360 being as reachable as what I did back there earlier. I think it should, where our numbers are, but just because of the frustration of how far it's fallen and whatnot, maybe we're going to be shooting for the 340s somewhere up in there that we'll get back to. But wherever it is, we'll make the best of it. And American cattle producers are resilient, and we'll come through it. And we'll be aggravated, but we'll come through it, and we'll keep right on producing the safest quality food product in the world, and go on to the next go round, and hope that somewhere down the line some uncorrupted politician and bureaucrat decides to do their job and take care of the hardworking taxpayers out here instead of just the corporates and the elites.
Yeah, exactly. And the bad thing about that, what you just said, the American farmer and the American rancher were the least of the population percentage-wise, and
that's right.
So, but we're worth a lot. You're closed this Friday at Elk City, but you're reopened at Western Oklahoma Monday, correct?
Yep. Be open there Monday. I already got a couple of nice sets of calves on the consignments. I got one real nice set of 8-weight feeder steers, about 100 of them coming next week, already consigned for this coming Monday, and be a nice run. I'm not expecting a huge run, but they're the Monday after Thanksgiving holiday, but expecting a good run. Like I said, already got 2 or 3 consignments on the list early. And then the following Friday at Elk, we'll have a really nice run. Got 2 really nice sets of bred heifers consigned, really big, nice group of black baldy calves consigned, and 2 or 3 groups of middle-aged to older bred cows already consigned for the Friday following, a week after Thanksgiving, so a week after Black Friday. So we'll have a good run next Monday, and then a really big, nice cow run the following Friday at Elk. May slow down after that, getting into December. I think I've got 3 sales at each barn in the month of December before we close down for the Christmas holidays. So it might slow down a little bit after that first one back in December, but we'll see. I don't know. I've expected the cow runs to slow down for several months. And
yeah, you're right. If you do it next Friday, that's week 12. So everybody needs to give Brandon a shout or call the sale barn if you're bringing in cows to Elk City next week, not this week. Next week, be sure to get your name in the hat, because he's had this, like I said, 11 weeks in a row. They've had to cut it off at that 575, 600 range, and there's reasons by it. And so, Brandon, I wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. I was getting ahead of myself. You started talking December.
It could be a Merry Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Merry Thanksgiving. And hey, so are you guys having turkey, ham, beef, or what for Thanksgiving? Do you know?
Always beef.
There we go.
There's always a little bit of token ham, a little bit of token turkey. Just to have to have there. Almost like you have to have it because it's Thanksgiving. But the main dish will be beef, mostly brisket, but there'll be some other beef dishes there as well. So yeah, we'll have lots of beef with a little bit of turkey and ham garnish.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna have some turkey Thursday at my house, but it's called wild turkey. So,
Yep.
So, all right, have a good one. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, Jimmy.
All right. We're going to take a Stockman's Vet break. We'll be right back after this.
He loves talking about farming and ranching. Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
You're already grabbing your jacket when you head out the door. You know what's coming very soon. Don't wait to winterize your vehicle. Anti-freezer wiping fluid, battery charger to keep in the car, engine starters, flashlights, rechargeable hand warmers, WeatherTech floor mats to keep the ice and snow off your floorboard, D-Gel diesel, scrapers, and de-icer. And those gloves, because the fingers are the first to get cold. You know who's got all this. Napa Auto Parts of Elk City. 716 West 3rd.
That life insurance that I have on myself, it's not for me. It's for my wife, that she doesn't have to sell the home. She doesn't have to go worry about how am I going to make this car payment? How am I going to come up with the cost out of pocket to pay this funeral? Because, that's an expensive cost. And it's a cost that you're going to have. If you had a machine in your garage that made money, it was a money-making machine. You went out every day and you flipped the switch on that machine and it generated money to pay your bills. Would you insure that machine? I've never had anybody say no. Sure they would. Well, you are that machine. You flip your switch on every morning when you get up. You flip your switch on when you go to work, but yet we don't insure ourselves. It doesn't make any sense to me. Hi, I'm Mickey Lively. I'm an insurance agent with Oklahoma Farm Bureau. My office is located in Greer County. Call me anytime at 580-782-3827.
Life insurance and annuity products offered through Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company. Property and casualty products are offered through Oklahoma Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance and affiliated companies.
Kent Watkins here with SEI Agritech in Elk City, Oklahoma. Are feral hogs causing damage to your land and crops? Try Kaput, our highly effective bait designed specifically for feral hog control. Kaput targets hogs where it hurts, helping you protect your property and your livestock. Don't wait for the damage to get worse. Call us or stop by today at SEI Agritech on South Randall in Elk City to learn more about Kaput. Follow us on Facebook for the latest updates and solutions.
Meet AgSense 365 from Valley. They've combined their best in-class remote irrigation management applications into one powerful platform. Easily manage everything from pivots to pumps and more, anytime, anywhere. All with AgSense 365. Contact Knutson Irrigation at 1-800-373-9325 today to learn more about AgSense 365, the most intuitive app for remote irrigation management. Online at KnutsonIrrigation.com.
You've got a problem, an issue, you can usually sit down and we can get it figured out while you're there. If it's something that we can't figure out right that day, it's usually within a day because everybody's accessible. If there's something that needs to be done loan-wise, we can get that ran to wherever it needs to go. Or if you just need help up front with some accounts or whatnot, I can walk you up there and introduce you to somebody and hang out with you and talk you through it. I can explain to Tammy or Tori or someone up front, hey, we've been discussing this. This is where we're at.
I'm Utah Robinson, and I help make the difference. First National Bank and Trust of Elk City and Sayre.
Member FDIC.
As a farmer or rancher, you're always looking for ways to save time and money. The Apache Hay Wagon from Everett's Welding in Visay, Oklahoma will help you do just that. The Apache Hay Wagon eliminates 80 to 90% of hay waste with its unique design. It hauls multiple bales, saving you time and money. Go by Everett's Welding today and ask to see the Apache Hay Wagon. You'll be glad you did. You can also visit them online at everettswelding.com.
He loves to talk about farming and ranching. Here's more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Hey guys, I hate to do this to you, but we're going to take another quick break. Come back. I'll finish up with the hay. Prices. Hay for sale. Get your pen and pencil ready, and we'll be right back after this.
Jimmy's all wound up and ready to go. Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
Do you love the great outdoors? Maybe you enjoy trap shooting or skeet shooting, or maybe getting some target practice in at the firing range is your thing. If you're that person, you love guns. Hobart Farm and Garden has a whole room dedicated to guns, gun safes, ammunition, and more. It's quite impressive. You got to go check it out. They are Western Oklahoma's platinum Browning dealer and Glock stocking dealer. They're located at 1030 South Monroe in Hobart, Oklahoma. If they don't have it, you don't need it. Hobart Farm and Garden.
Hi folks, this is EJ Gredeman with ASCO Equipment out of Elk City, Oklahoma. If you need rental equipment, I got your back. From excavators to wheel loaders, telehandlers, and forklifts, we rent the brands that you know and trust. With flexible terms, responsible service, and expert support, we're here to keep your job on track. Need equipment? We're on it here at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com or stop by our Elk City branch, 513 West 20th here in Elk City, Oklahoma, or you can just give me a call, 580-243-9233. Appreciate it, folks, and y'all have a blessed day.
Start your holidays at Cummins Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Weatherford. Drive away in a brand new 2026 Ram truck, stuffed with power, performance, and everything to be thankful for this season. It's the Black Friday sales event. So get in, buckle up, and celebrate the season in style. Whether you're hauling gifts, gear, or the whole family, Cummins has a perfect truck to make your holiday shine. Cummins Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Weatherford, just off I-40 or at CumminsChrysler.com.
It helps to work with someone who's been down the same road you're traveling, someone who knows what you're up against and what you're going through. When it comes to farmers and ranchers, that's us. That's who we are. Our lenders know ag inside and out because we're producers too. We approach it like a partnership. We want to put ag producers in position to be successful. We're very laid back and easy to deal with, and people seem to like that. We think you'll like it too. I'm Marty Maddox. Great Plains Bank in Elk City is here to lend farmers and ranchers a helping hand. Member FDIC.
Next spring, you'll fire up the tractor, turn the earth, plant the seed, and be on your way to another harvest. If you take care of your tractor right now. Before you put it up, do the maintenance so you'll be ready to go next spring. Everything you need to keep your tractor performing is at Camrock Supply. All the grease and hydraulic fluids and filters. All the nuts and bolts, all the tire patches. All the stuff is at Camrock Supply. All of it. Next to Fred's Steakhouse in Elk City. When it's time, make sure your tractor is ready to go.
This is the Western Oklahoma Livestock Auction Market Report for Monday, November 17th. 1,185 head were sold. 10 head of steers at $492 brought $435. 20 at $613 brought $377.50. 16 at $619 brought $360. 5 at $637 brought $367.50. 9 at $672 brought $333. 27 at $743 brought $350. 12 at $889 brought $325. 6 head of heifers at $443 brought $397. 7 at $477 brought $345. 3 at $530 brought $345. 12 at $609 brought $337.50. 5 at $625 brought $327.50. 13 at $657 brought $295. 16 at $691 brought $317.50. Butcher cows were $20 to $168. Butcher bulls $144 to $187. Bred cows $1,000 to $27.50. Western Oklahoma Livestock Auction, exit 71, Clinton, Oklahoma. Sale every Monday at 10 a.m. Consign, call Brandon Hickey 580-497-6095.
Now, back to more of Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You got your pencil and pen ready? You ready? I think this is a heck of a deal on hay. We got 153 bales of blue stem Bermuda grass mix for $60 a bale. 92 bales of native grass hay, love grass mix, $20 a bale. And he told me this wheat rye hay was really good. 74 bales of wheat rye hay, mixed hay, that's mixed hay, $50 a bale. Call 580-729-2436. 729-2436. Also, we got a new listing for some rye hay at Carter. Got a little over 200 bales of rye hay, good rye hay. Carter, $70 a bale, can haul, extra. Cost you extra. 580-821-4816. 100 bales of Milo hay with some Milo in it. Put up pretty good, he says. $50 a bale, and this is at Hobart. Got some grain in it. 580-530-1032. 580-530-1032. And we got some quality hay grazer. Test it. 1,200 pound bales, 75 of them. Got some horse quality tiff grass, about 20 bales of that. Loading is available. Delivery is available in the retrop area. 580-821-2355. We'll take up some more about what you're having for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Have a great day. It's Today in Ag with Jimmy Clark, brought to you by First National Bank and Trust of Elk City in Sarah, Oklahoma. God bless.